Welcome to Cinecaps. Today I will show you an action film from 2023 titled In the Land of Saints and Sinners. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. In 1974, Ireland, countrywide civil unrest exploded into armed conflict. The Irish Republican Army is fighting through all means possible, and this time, it results in civil casualties. Murphy, an assassin for hire, receives a message with his next target. Locating the man in a bar, singing. Murphy secures the target, leading him through the woods, with the man clutching a sapling. They reach a secluded area ringed with similar young trees, marking it as an execution site. For Murphy, it's routine work, but this execution feels different when, given a minute for last words, the man forgoes pleas, accepting his fate and advising Murphy to do good while possible, hinting that eventually Murphy will be in his position. The advice strikes a chord with Murphy, yet he proceeds to carry out the execution, planting the sapling on the man's grave. As Murphy returns to his employer Robert for the payment, he notes that this was his last gig. He's retiring, telling Robert that the youngster, Kevin, can take on more jobs from now on. Arriving back home, Murphy stashes his payment and, on the suggestion of his pretty neighbor Rita, starts getting into gardening, even buying a bulk of seeds from town. Murphy, dressed sharply, dines with Rita, and their conversation unexpectedly veers towards his late wife, who was his greatest love. Amidst this, he compliments Rita's beauty, a moment abruptly interrupted by her gravely ill husband's coughing. Murphy is reminded he's stepping on someone's toes. Taking a stroll, Murphy encounters Moya fishing for dinner and offers her advice on landing a big catch. However, as a fish bites, she accidentally drops her supplies into the river. It's at this moment Murphy spots bruises on her neck, but before he can react, Moya dashes away. Going into a bar for a drink, Murphy tells Moya's mother about the incident with the food crate, claiming it was his fault, which leaves her unpleasantly surprised. He also greets the town's sheriff, Vincent, with whom Murphy is a good friend. They occasionally go shooting cans. Outside the bar, Murphy catches Moya attempting to mount a horse to escape. He informs her that he has taken the blame for the food crate and suggests it would be easier for her to flee during daylight. With that advice, Murphy escorts Moya back home, where her starving uncle, Curtis, grabs the food bag. Murphy knows exactly who's responsible for the bruises. With the bag, Curtis goes to his shed, where he's housing IRA separatists. They're furious that after 2 hours, all he brought them was an apple. The next morning, as amends for the food crate, Murphy hands Sinead a new crate with supplies. Outside he spots Moya playing with a bullet that has a cross on it and new bruises on her hand. Before he can get any answers, she's scared off by Curtis' arrival. Murphy approaches Robert, ready to pay for someone to remove Curtis, but he's hesitant to do so, because Curtis is too close to their base of operations and that would attract unwanted attention from the police. He also suspects Curtis could be with the IRA, and that would mean even bigger problems. Robert wants no part of it. Seeing no other option, Murphy decides to take matters into his own hands. He stalks out Curtis and in a friendly voice offers him a lift. Murphy starts telling him stories about the town and that he loves hunting, even offers to show him his double barrel. Seizing the opportunity, Murphy knocks Curtis out and arrives at his usual spot. Opening the trunk, Curtis attacks Murphy and starts running away. Murphy quickly starts loading his DB, dropping one slug and grazes Curtis. When he intends to finish him off, the slug misfires. But Kevin got his back. Robert sent him, just in case. After burying the body, as a payment, Murphy buys Kevin some bingo tickets. He finds out that Kevin is not exactly right in the head, thinking that killing is a joke. But Murphy doesn't find that funny. Darren, a woman part of the IRA and Curtis' sister, is worried she hasn't heard from him for a day now. While her other members plan to leave the place, fearing their hideout might be burned, Darren decides to look for her brother, despite being wanted for the recent terror act. She arms herself with a revolver, noticing one bullet missing. Darren questions if Sinead knows where Curtis is, but she genuinely has no idea and hopes that the cops arrested him. After searching the beach and consulting her Belfast HQ with no leads, Darren seeks out Robert, aware of his dealings. She questions him about Curtis, but Robert feigns ignorance until Darren discovers a bullet, the one missing from a revolver. At gunpoint, Robert admits Curtis was murdered by Murphy. When Robert attempts to grab his gun, Darren shoots him, then snatches his blood money to distribute among her team. Leaving Rita's place, Kevin tells him the bad news. They find Robert's body and get rid of all evidence of Robert ever being involved in any illicit dealings. Then Murphy tells Robert's wife to call the police. Meanwhile, Darren sends one of her men, Seamus, to find out where Murphy lives on the pretense of being Murphy's cousin, but at the same time Vincent arrives, finding the encounter suspicious. Darren forcefully enters Murphy's home and the kitty goes into hiding. Not long after, as the pair is arriving, Murphy notices the lights on. Pulling to the side, Murphy watches his house from the hill, while Kevin starts telling a story about how he met Robert and how he was like a father figure to him. Come morning, Darren gets tired of waiting and is suspecting that Murphy must be watching them, so she gives him something to watch. The ruckus attracts Rita's attention. Darren hates nosy neighbors. Kevin has a clear shot on her, but Murphy doesn't want Rita to get caught in a crossfire. Instead, he just watches how Rita gets knocked out, then the IRA squad leaves. Murphy and Kevin get Rita inside. Then he calls a doctor to check up on her and decides to stay at Kevin's place. At least the kitty is okay. After arming himself, he notices a burned newspaper mentioning Curtis. He visits town to get a fresh edition. Connecting the dots, he suspects that Darren is the one that killed Robert. Murphy bumps into Vincent, who gives him a ride to Sinead's place. There he sees the same car that left his house this morning and inside finds tools used to make explosives. With the football match nearby, Murphy looks around and spots the trio arguing. A good place to lay low, especially that their faces are on wanted posters. The guys want to flee the country, abandoning everything they are fighting for, something that doesn't sit right with Darren. She walks away, and Murphy sees her enter the bathroom. He attempts to shadow her, but she is one step ahead. Darren wants to know who ordered the hit on Curtis. He offers her a ceasefire, but no bueno. Murphy agrees to lead the man to her, but to ensure there is no funny business, she wants to meet at the pub this evening. Darren issues a stark warning. Should anything go wrong, she vows to detonate the pub. Murphy calls up Kevin, telling his plan is to execute all three of the IRA separatists in public and then go into hiding. Kevin is eager to join him. Murphy leaves the kitty in Moya's care. Meanwhile, the IRA group is getting ready to meet at the pub. Arriving near the pub, Kevin wants to back him up, but Murphy has a plan of his own. He gives Kevin all his savings and tells him to leave town. This is his war. Murphy wants Kevin to abandon this lifestyle and pursue his dreams of being a musician, travel the world. He's young. The pub is full of life and Vincent offers Murphy a seat with him. Vincent questions Murphy about the man that was looking for him earlier. He starts to suspect that Murphy isn't really a writer and is involved in something serious, but Murphy just tells him, he doesn't want to know. As he sees Darren arriving, Moya suddenly walks in. He quickly sends her back home with the kitty. Vincent goes out for a smoke, seeing the suspicious Connor with a bag and the man from earlier, Seamus, in the car. Noticing the scratches, Vincent remembers the broken sign incident from a week ago and slowly walks back inside, suspecting the worst. Murphy walks up to the bar, and as he is about to reveal he's the one that wanted Curtis dead, Kevin pops up, admitting that he's the one that ordered the hit. She immediately shoots Kevin, and a shootout ensues with the whole pub running out in panic. As Connor is about to blow the place up, his bag is gone. He doesn't get far though, as Seamus knocks him out. Murphy deals with Connor and Kevin lands a clean shot on Darren. The last IRA member activates the timer on explosives, but Murphy shoots him as he's about to throw it. Landing outside, the explosives blow up, with Murphy managing to escape the blast. Unfortunately, Kevin isn't going to make it, especially with a bullet in his head. Darren is still alive. She escapes outside and as Murphy is about to follow, turns out Connor is also a lively one. With the two struggling, Connor manages to pull the pin from the grenade, but Murphy overpowers him and gets the pin back in. He walks outside and Darren misses her last shot. Fortunately, Murphy finds his trusty double barrel in their car when Vincent suddenly calls out to him. Without any more words exchanged, Murphy goes after Darren. He finds her in the church and before Darren bleeds out, she pleads with Murphy to bury her next to her brother. Murphy promises to do that, planting a sapling on her grave. Back at his place, Murphy says his goodbyes to Rita and drives away. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this.